in this cage, I've been stuck here for days and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Struck the key, yeah. Can we be free? You pull me up, yeah. Can we be free? And I put you down. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Don't let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Struck the key, yeah. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Don't let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Struck the key, yeah. Can we be free? You pull me up, yeah. Can we be free? And I put you down.
Heyo, everybody! It's Monday. Unfortunately,
Josh, you're not next to me. What's going on?
I wish it was fucking Sunday still, cause I'm a little tired.
Sound tired.
And so today, you guys, is gonna be an excellent day. We have Mr. Christopher Byrne.
Hi-yo.
Loves my balls.
Hitachi Chris.
Hitachi.
On the stream today. Also on for you SoundClouders. And Chris he's one of our 15 people that will come back and listen to us every week. So
That's me.
I don't
do it every week though.
What percentage is that? So that's like
like 90% of the people that listen to it live
Yes.
go back and listen to it on SoundCloud. What's the SoundCloud, by the way? Oh no!
Mom's Basement Games.
I was gonna say I thought Richie. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
I thought.
SoundCloud.
I don't know the hyperlink for that.
I'm always listening to this, and you start like shouting out the channel and stuff like that. It's just like
I have this
Josh.
hyperlink down because I need it for like a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of work. and
SoundCloud,
stuff.
I normally just like shoot it up there.
I'm loving learning a bunch of your guys' your setup here. Like this is cool because
We
like
got this
everybody's
down.
got their own setup, and I like what you guys are doing here. It looks cool.
Thanks, man.
Love the background, love the wings, love it all.
Good.
Great.
Yeah,
Those wings actually came from Josh.
Yeah. When you went to see Kesha,
Yeah.
with his sister-in-law.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Super cool. He
Yeah.
was the only man with his shirt off and bright blue wings at a Kesha concert.
With
believe it or
glitter
not.
on.
Yes.
I was so overdressed, it was fucking unbelievable. And I was underdressed.
It's like showing up to what you think is a cocktail party dressed up in your suit, but it's
Yeah.
actually just your boys hanging out, passing some brewskis.
Yeah, literally, it's a bunch
Yeah.
of PBR getting
Yeah.
passed around. You're wearing a
Old man
suit.
in their denim jean shorts.
You got your cigarette
Yeah.
like cutter and
I
stuff.
was walking around and people were just, their phones couldn't come out of their pockets fast enough. And they're just like, yep, I'm Snapchatting the fuck out of this guy. He is disgusting. Look at him.
Kesha loved it though.
Oh, they all loved it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so this week, it's kind of a special episode. we wanted to take you guys through what was going on with the judge program.
Hey,
Chris he's a L.5 judge. He's still working on his level 1.
Wait.
You'll get there one day.
Am I supposed to be here to talk about the judge stuff? I don't.
You just came
I
to
don't
hang
know.
out and eat
Well,
Chinese
yeah, I just
food?
thought I could.
Yeah.
Like, I brought you guys Chinese food, even though I got sniped on the payment. But okay.
Yeah, I paid for it.
It's okay. You can use your
Sneaky son of a
55 and
bitch.
plus discount later.
Okay. I'll pick up some bulk.
So there's been a lot of changes with what's going on with the judge program, and Chris is he's got all this judge energy balled up inside. And Chris,
Big judge energy.
you're still a level 1 judge, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This doesn't change almost anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't change status.
Doesn't change status. Anybody that is currently an active certified judge will be able to get through this process as seamlessly as their system will allow. And that's not to say that there won't be bumps in the road, but like it's a big change in kind of service provider system. And there's going to be a lot of people trying to get it done as much as possible, and there's going to be a ton of people looking into it that are just interested. They just want the information, right? They just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly like. I'm not a judge myself, and I
Sure.
personally don't have a lot of interest in it.
Sure.
But I care about like the judging community, as we couldn't really have Magic without it. So.
As you absolutely should, Richie. And I don't think that you're one of the few, but I don't also think that you're in the majority of players that really don't recognize how crucial like judging is to the overall health and success of Magic events in general. People think of like going to like SCGs and GPs and stuff like that.
They really
and,
take it for granted.
yeah, and they're like, oh, the staff will be there and they'll run everything, and oh man, why is this turnover taking so long? Well, it's because they really.
I don't have time for that shit. Nobody got time for that.
But it's because those people really care about your event. They care about your experience. They care about probably most of all, well, second to most. First is always safety. We always care about safety. But other than that, it's the integrity of the tournament. Mm-hmm. The time that you're getting these long turnovers is generally like some kind of like software malfunction, or because they are engaged in something that they believe could impact the integrity of the tournament, and they want to make sure that everything is going to be good on all the other players' end.
As someone who's had a 22-minute judge call before, I definitely understand.
Yeah. It can totally happen, and we want to give everyone that time, you know. So I think we've all of us have been there and been like, man, why is this round taking so long to turn over? But like, if you ever put yourself in that person's shoes in that situation, you want that judge's full attention. You don't want them to feel like they're trying to rush through your call and get everything else going. It's like,
You want them to take as much time as they need.
yes, your game, your match matters just as much as anybody else's. Like, we want the event to go as smoothly as possible. We're not going to like hold things up for any kind of special reasons or anything like that. But like, we're going to like give everybody their due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Richie, do you see what you've done? It's been like 5.5 minutes, and you asked him one question. This podcast is going to be like fucking
to the
3
longest
hours long.
path.
This
podcast.
is great because we don't have to talk as much, and neither of us have the voice or energy for this.
Yeah, you guys
do.
Like,
Now,
you're just
Chris.
coming off a little bit of sickness. You're a tired baby boy.
Chris, time out for a second,
Yeah,
all right?
nice
I
shirt,
just
by
want
the
to,
way.
yes, that's what I want to get into. So today, you guys, SoundClouders, I know you guys can't see us. Future YouTubers, I know you can see our beautiful man bodies right now. And I'm wearing a Pandemonium Games and Hobbies t-shirt, and this is big because it's still got the tag on it. Okay, where's the tag at? There we go. I just pulled this out of the closet over there. Cody gave me this. Cody's a manager at Pandemonium Games and Hobbies in Garden City, Michigan. Chris is their level 1 judge and also their events coordinator and probably their worst employee. And so
God, can you imagine how awesome if that was like the truth of it? Like, we're really good at what we do, but if I was their worst employee, damn, we'd be really killing it.
Yeah, you would. You guys would be the best.
I mean,
they're
we
not
are the
already?
best. That's right.
They're not the best. So yeah,
Don't at
I
me.
wanted to get you a
at
shout
him.
out here,
You can at me.
and
At
you know,
Pando Chris.
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the store and let everybody know, like, you know, it is it's the biggest store south of Mississippi, correct?
East of the
East of
Mississippi.
the Mississippi.
East of the Mississippi.
South.
Do you know what Mississippi is, Josh?
Don't correct
He doesn't
me.
know what South is.
Don't correct me. Nobody's running back the statistics here.
Sure.
Well, Josh was
You don't
wrong
know
with this
that.
percentage. But yeah, so
We're gonna make that a fact.
We're happy to have Pandemonium Games, as our kind of friends all the time, and
we love you,
always
man.
do business with you guys. And this week we got to talk about something that's really impactful to Chris and the community as a whole, because this is something that I just haven't heard a lot about. Even me being the small Magic player that I am, which I don't get to play a whole
Don't lie,
lot.
you're not very small.
Ooh,
That's
the
true.
beats.
That's true. But the big body Magic player that I am, I don't really get to play as much, and I don't always think about, well, how is this going to affect me? And I think it's something that, if you want to scrub through this audio at some point, you got to think to yourself, like, what do I want to get out of this? Like, what do I even care about this? And I don't actually, I did some reading earlier, and I've been listening to some people talk. I've heard some negative, and I've heard some negative. So I haven't heard a whole lot of positive.
I've heard
but
some positive.
I think that Chris is going to have some positive things to say about this, because usually when Chris and I used to do our live podcast years and years ago.
God, was it that long?
It was last year. When we used to do
Was
our
it last
thing.
year? I thought it was like close to 2 years ago now.
Nah, it's
No,
it's
I
like
hadn't been that long.
I think
Yeah.
8 months was like our last show or something.
Okay.
Sure.
Or a little bit longer.
Sure.
But anyways, we used to, he was always the Debbie Downer, and I was always like, no,
Yeah,
we
'cause
got this.
You were the Always Sunny.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Always Sunny where I was from, and so
Philadelphia.
But I do think that Chris has some positive thing to say. So, I think we should definitely get into it, because there's a lot of context that we got to talk about. But first, always we want to mention our sponsor, Mom's Basement Games.
Woot.
.tcgplayerpro.com.
There you go, Richie.
Nice.
Thank you. Always
I'm
finish
sorry,
it
I
off.
didn't quite hear that. Could I get it one more time?
Mom's Basement Games .tcgplayerpro.com.
Double plugs. I love it.
There we go. So we'll get the.
You're used to 2 plugs. Chris.
DPs.
We'll go ahead and show you guys the link there, and let you guys know that if you guys ever need any singles, come find us. Whether you're on SoundCloud right now and you're thinking to yourself, like, man, I need Hogak Arisen Necropolis, and that's their top seller. Come get it if you want to gack some people.
Yeah, as
Only,
low as $6.99.
Only for a couple of weeks, though, hopefully.
Yeah, hope to God that thing's gone. And last week, you could listen to us if you go back and listen to our podcast from last week. We tried to play a drinking game of every time we said the word Hogak, you should take a drink. And
So, is there like a bunch of families like seeking like funeral expenses from you guys now?
Yeah, probably.
Because
lot of
like,
deaths.
Because our topic was the GAC was back.
yeah, that's just straight alcohol poisoning. That's not good for you.
Yeah.
That's a
We
bad
couldn't-
time.
So it was everything from start to finish. It was like we had to talk about the Pro Tour. That's all that fucking happened at the Pro Tour. Then we moved into like
SCG.
Yeah, SCG, and it was everything at SCG. It was just like, and then we got into finance, and guess what?
It wasn't selling.
No, it was just all fucking finance. All like so.
So
This
the
week-
GAC was
Last,
back.
week,
Is that
last
what it was
week's
called?
podcast was sponsored by Hogak Arisen Necropolis.
Yes, it
Nice.
was. So this week we finally got to get away from that guy. But yeah,
because
so
now I'm so like I'm energized on that now. I'm like, man, I really want to get Richie's take on like if we could shift this whole meta or what. But okay,
No.
maybe another episode.
no.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So now we usually start off the podcast with a fun fact,
Okay.
but we do not have a fun fact for today because
We have a special guest fact.
yes, we do. And so Richie, go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah,
This
so
was this was your baby.
almost in almost Judge's Corner-esque. How about for the throwbacks for the old fans?
Sure.
You give them the story of the oddest judge call that you've ever had.
The oddest judge call. Okay.
Weirdest or
Okay. This is like card interaction type stuff, or is this like game?
Your choice.
Okay. I'm
Just whatever
gonna
you
do.
feel like
I'm gonna
the
do a little
weirdest-
bit like a kind of like game interaction and just player like mistakes. Then okay. So the one that pops in my mind is from the only regional Pro Tour qualifier to ever exist in the state of Michigan that I ran at Pandemonium's Games.
I was
and
about to say,
Hobbies.
what store was that at?
That was at Pando, baby. The only one.
I was flexing. You didn't even have to say the word flex. I just flexed into the camera.
But I was trying my hand at wearing multiple hats at an event. I was doing TO and I was doing a floor judge, and I had a ton of like experienced, awesome judges there, and like it was a busy day for me. I remember going from one call, doing it, walking away, thinking about it, because that's something that we do as judges. We always kind of critique ourselves. We're like, I wonder if I could do this or that better in the future. I wonder if I had said this, if they had got it a little bit easier or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking down the aisle, I'm kind of like rethinking about it to myself, and then I get another call right there at the end of the table where I'm standing, which was perfect. And a player goes like, I don't think I've drawn a card for a turn. And for me personally, I don't know about other judges, but for me personally, having to do a card count in the middle of a game is
abysmal.
It is absolutely abysmal.
That
It's
sounds the worst.
one of my nightmares, especially at that time, because it's like with most things, or most people, I think, if you have something that you're not super great at, a lot of the times you kind of like push it to the back of your training. You don't try and focus on it too much.
Chris can't count. That's what we're hearing right now.
Dude, it's rough, especially when one of the players is playing blue magic. It's just like, God dang it! Did you cast this? Did it resolve? How many cards have you drawn? Like, did you dig through time this? Silly stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we had to do a count, which I am not great at. I am now. I'm a lot better at them now, because I'm like, I gotta force myself into this. Can't let this happen again. But we're doing a count. I have like 2 L3s over my shoulders as I'm doing this, which is making me a little bit more nervous or whatever. Figure out player has not drawn a card. Okay, so we have him draw the card. We do a little time extension, get the game back going and stuff like that. Sit down to do their match slip, and then 20 seconds later, the player goes, "Wait, now I have an extra card in my hand." and we're just like, what? And one of the L3s was still right there, so we're just like, what the hell just happened? And we do the count again. Sure enough, now he has an extra card. And he didn't before. He absolutely did not before.
So he drew 2 cards instead of 1 on accident.
We think that either that happened, or one of the kind of classic blunders is I teach it now because it was my blunder. When I teach my judges how to do card counts and stuff like that, you've been when I've been at calls and stuff like that, and I just tell you, or one of my judges tell you, like, just stop moving things. I think that what happened is he either drew 2 cards, like they stuck together when we instructed him to actually draw, or that since we were doing counts as like, okay, fan those out, and he was like holding stuff and moving stuff around, that we actually, some of those cards were stuck together. So, judge advice, if you're ever having to do a count, you don't let people touch things. You spread them out by yourself. You literally pick them up and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, you make sure that 100% nothing is stuck together. Do your counts that way.
Knees
always.
weak, hands sweaty.
Oh,
sticking them cards together.
Oh, dude, I was a wreck after that. After that call, because I was like, oh my god.
That had to have been awkward too, with like 2 L3s.
I had 2 L3s, and I was terrified, because I was like, oh my god, I just instructed this player to do something illegal. He has an extra card in his hand. What if I did that last count wrong? And like after it was all said and done, and I got to freak out like internally for a while. One of the L3s was like, no, I watched the entire thing. Like, he did not have that many cards. Like the only thing I can think of is like that, because you didn't take the cards out of his hand, that maybe they were stuck together in his hand. But like, no, you did everything else right. And I was just like, okay. But yeah, don't let players move things around when you're taking a call, whether it's card counting or not.
That was the craziest judge call
Dude,
you ever had. Are you fucking kidding me?
I had 2 L3s over my shoulders while I'm doing this, and then I basically screwed a player over. I thought, like, oh my god, I just caused an illegal action to happen. Well, we do what we
like. What if you
What if I had done it?
Yeah.
What if I had done it? Well, then I feel like how often do you guys curse on this thing?
I mean,
Okay, I would feel like absolute poopy. It would. Fucking got him. Fucking got him. I would have felt like really, really awful, man. Like we're there to help, not make things worse. And
right.
So, but we would have gone through a fix of like, okay, you have an additional card in your hand that you shouldn't. Where does it belong? We're gonna put it back there. Okay, you know a card that you shouldn't know, so we need to randomize it away. That kind of thing. So I basically would have inadvertently given the one player a huge advantage over the other player, which just makes it.
Would it have been the Thoughtseize fix where they get to look at?
No.
Okay.
No, because it would have been a game rule violation. It wouldn't have been a hidden card error at that point. At least that's how I believe it would have gone. But like in the moment, I was more along the lines of like, I fucking hate counting cards. Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck this up.
Yep.
okay, I got through it. Oh my god, I fucked it up. Like, it's on me. I fucked it up.
Full circle.
Yeah. And this is the first RPTQ that ever existed in Michigan.
Right.
And so it was like a big deal for me to make sure that the event went as well as I possibly
As
could.
smooth as
And then for
possible.
me to be at the heart of one of its potential problems, I was like, I'm fucked. It was the weirdest call for me because I got so screwed over and in my own head about it. Yeah. Other than that, like card interaction and nerdy players and stuff like that, like that's all.
Yeah, that's daily.
Yeah, that's just gravy to
Like,
me. To
yeah,
be honest.
like-
Like that's on everything.
Yeah, like, hey, first found a turd in my backpack. Judge, what do I do?
I'm gonna be like, well, is it your turd?
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, yeah. And I'll be like, well, is it your backpack? And they go, oh no. And then we go from there.
Yeah.
That ain't me, Chief.
That ain't me,
Yeah, so
Chief.
I thought there was gonna be some kind of nutty story, but that is a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal. That's what it is for me, man.
All right, so what is your first topic? Like, I need to know. I'm sure you. I'm
You
sure
guys
you had
over
this
prepared
all,
for me. This is gonna be awesome.
I'm sure you had this all laid out in your mind.
Well,
Call
but
Dad
let's.
on stream.
I guess we should always.
That wasn't what it was meant to be, but.
So we're always
Before,
but before we get there, we're gonna run you guys through like we usually do and let you guys know about upcoming events.
We have
because
a tournament to talk about result-wise, right?
Oh.
we do.
No, we
From
don't. It was limited.
Shit.
We
We
don't.
don't.
Got
We
it.
don't. Yep. That
Was
you
it
did
the
get
was
me.
it the Chiba?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
the past the Dutchie on the left hand side.
Does anybody still? I don't follow limited, and I don't think a lot of people do. But at the same time, like,
Nobody that
do
listens
they
to this
even report
podcast.
on that kind of stuff?
They usually like say who won it. They
That's
don't
it.
talk about the decks
That's
or anything.
that's frustrating. That's frustrating for Magic
Well,
coverage.
Like, now that they don't do video coverage, who cares?
Yeah.
Do you want to see a picture of their draft deck? Like,
Yeah, that's what.
Actually-
usually what happens is they just they just tweet out the Instagram or tweet out their deck that they won with, and then they're like, "Congratulations, guys!" They tag Channel Fireball, and then they have a picture on their website, and that's
they
all you
do
hear
that
about
for limited too. Because I didn't even know that they did that for limited.
I mean,
I knew they sent out pictures of like the players, but I didn't know they sent out like the decks.
before when we always did the podcast before, we'd always bring up the limited, and we'd talk about. And I know I think like episode 1 or 2, you and I had a picture of the limited person.
I
But
feel like there's got to be a better way to do limited stuff because I'm a very visual person. I like to like see that kind of stuff laid out.
yeah,
And limited and draft and stuff like that. There's so many choices that can go good or bad for you. You know,
Yeah.
if you stick to your color or you start breaking out of it or something like that. I wonder if there's like, I'm assuming this one was sealed or like team sealed or something like that.
It's sealed day 1, draft day 2, like usual.
Okay. So like seeing some portion of that where I get to like look at it and be like, huh, is this actually like good? Is this feasible? Would I play this? Like that's kind of content that I personally would want out of limited.
Yeah, the problem is like 1, Channel Fireball I don't think cares enough, and 2, I think it's probably too expensive for them to.
I honestly feel like as the Channel Fireball is probably, or CFBE specifically is kind of stretched a little bit thin. This was like the first time that somebody took over these events for Wizards of the Coast on a full contract, and I'm sure it's a good contract, but like there's a lot of things to figure out in a very quick fashion when you have to take over like a global system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna get the axe.
You think so?
Maybe not next year.
I don't think so.
I think they're getting the axe.
Who do you think would step up? Star City doesn't want it.
I think it's going back to Star City.
I think Star City does their own thing and they do it so well that like it's just not more lucrative for them to do somebody else's.
I'm kind of with Chris on this one.
Yeah, I think
I've
it's
talked
more
to
effort for a
A
less
couple of them who
return.
work and like
Really?
Yeah.
the whole reason why that they do SCG Con now and can like not afford but like have the time to like set up an event like that is because they don't have to worry about GPs anymore.
Yeah.
Because the opens are nothing to set up for them. It's the same thing every week.
Yeah, it's
GPs are. They even said like GPs were a hassle.
I think that one of their toughest parts for opens and stuff like that for them is like just making sure that everything fits on the truck. Last time I was talking to Jeremy Knoll about it, he was saying that like every pound on that truck now matters. Like they're just like we literally need 10 pounds to come off this thing. Or go run a mile, get back in the truck, like then it'll roll and not.
Thank God Richie doesn't
Don't
work
stop.
there. They never get to go
And
anywhere.
now they got those fucking chairs. I haven't talked to him since
chairs
he got
are-
those chairs. They're pretty sweet. They're pretty sweet.
One
but
day I'll sit in them.
Yeah,
rather than, like,
absolutely.
Just scrap out of an open.
I'm sure that round one of coverage, like you'll.
Dang, savage. Yeah,
Not
so
wrong.
this
That's not my only change.
August
matched up against Ross Merriman.
August 9th
They
is
don't
going to
play
be
round one.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
There you guys go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, baby.
So if you guys are interested in that, if that's in your 500-mile radius wheelhouse, then get out there, play
What
some
a-
modern. If
Wait, what for? I think you said the format wrong.
Modern.
I think it's pronounced Hogak.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be
It's format Hogak.
Format Hogak's going to
That's
be in Minneapolis, and you guys are going to want to check that out. And then if you guys are going to be in the UK the following weekend, that will be modern also. Still Hogak, excuse me. And that will be in Birmingham, not Alabama.
Yeah.
Birmingham, UK.
You know, there's Birmingham, Michigan too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really
That's where
confusing.
the Magic Fest.
Let's
is,
do
right?
it. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'll be
so
there.
during
Magic Fest Birmingham.
Yeah, let's go.
You maybe fit like me, you, Josh, and like 3 other people in the convention center.
That's all it takes, right?
You
These
know.
these halls don't fill, right? That's.
Ooh.
the
wish you were
following
wrong.
week, though, you guys.
Oh, I know.
During that Birmingham week, August 16th, I'll be in Chicago doing some business with Pastimes. And then the following week, I will be in Las Vegas, Nevada for the
Viva.
modern.
Ooh.
Yeah, for the
Viva
modern,
Las Vegas.
And for those of you that aren't interested, earmuffs. I will be, Chris, earmuffs. This is for the younger ones out there. I will be at the Gentlemen's Club, probably several nights there. So at me if you guys are interested in that. And you can find me at Mom's Basement MTG on Twitter.
At Mom's Basement MTG on Twitter.
Yeah, so hit me
Man,
up.
that is a long Twitter hashtag.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, what else was I gonna do? But yeah, you guys can also find me on the Facebook too, if you guys are interested in those ladies.
I was saying like that you also had on Twitter in your tag.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
It wasn't a good joke, but at least I thought it got
All
across.
right, so that's upcoming events.
It wasn't the chicken.
Let's get into
Cross that road, baby.
Let's get into the Judge Academy. Chris, tell us
The Judge Academy.
tell us about the Judge Academy,
Yeah.
and what it's going to mean for future judges, even people like Bree.
Sure.
herself.
Yeah. Okay. I would be happy to tell you about Judge Academy and what the future of that looks like for Magic and players and judges alike. Judge Academy is the new system that will replace what was called the Judge Program, and a lot of times you'll probably hear me refer to like the Judge Program, and it'll just mean like what judges do, and then other times I'll say it and I'll mean like no, the actual like organization that is the Judge Program. So the Judge Program, I don't think was technically even like a legal non-profit. It was just an entity of people with like-minded thoughts about how tournaments should like run with a consistent basis, and a well-trained staff.
So it was like a club.
Yeah. So it was, you know how sometimes game stores are not like professional businesses, instead they turn into like just like your buddy hangout.
Oh, like Mom's Basement Games.
No,
Hey,
not
guy.
like that. Not like that. I mean, just the treehouse that is actually a comic book store kind of thing. You know what I mean? You walk in and
I can
everyone's
think
like,
of quite a
what
few like that.
What are you doing in our treehouse kind of thing? You know? No. So the Judge Program, while being very open and accepting of individuals, was ultimately its own thing of like, hey, we want this thing to happen and we all like each other, so let's hang out and make it happen together. And that's pretty awesome because it has accomplished a ton of stuff in its lifetime.
So now, not to interrupt, but
Sure.
to interrupt, fuck you.
Fuck you!
There is going to be an academy, right? So is there going to be like an old bald guy in a wheelchair cruising around
See,
in a house?
I
and
said
you guys
that
are all gonna
I
hang
said
out?
it should have been called like Judge Hogwarts or something along
Is this
those
more like
lines.
the Ninja Academy, like from Naruto?
Dude, we're gonna hide this in the rules text. Nice. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Fuck you, old man.
I don't even know what Naruto is.
He can't even pronounce
Can't
the
even
fuck.
say it.
What the fuck's a Naruto?
I'll show you how to run later.
We don't-
Okay, it'll change your life.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
To Area 51,
Area-
right?
All right,
The
back
memes.
to
Sweet memes.
back
They
to
were
the
made
Judge
of
Academy.
these.
So Judge Academy is now essentially the new judge program. The old program was this non-legal, not that it was illegal, but that it wasn't a legal entity that I was aware of, at least. This will be a for-profit company that is built to supply judges with training and other materials to basically make them better judges, and then for events operators, tournament organizers, and stuff like that, the Judge Academy will serve as a place of certification. So if you were, one of the things I think that they even talk about in this wonderful document that we're looking at is a certified public accountant kind of thing. It's like you could look to the different state and regional industries and stuff like that and say like, hey, I need a CPA. Like, who's in my area that you recommend? Well, Judge Academy is like that, but for judges. So TO goes to Judge Academy and they say, hey, I need a staff of 50 judges for this huge event I'm going to put together. These are my needs. This is like what I'm trying to put, what I want it to look like and stuff like that. Who can you send me? And then Judge Academy says like, oh, well, these are all of our fantastic certified people in your area. Feel free to contact them and work out your compensation fees and stuff like that. So
it's almost just like a more professional version of
yes, absolutely.
The old system.
Yes, that's in my view, that is very much what this is. This takes the old system and just applies a, hey, we're an official company brand kind of label to it, and says like, please take us seriously. We are a legal entity.
Now, could this also have came from, I can't remember everything about it, but I remember something about like judges suing over not getting paid.
So
is that also, do you think that might also have something to do with?
Oh, real nice. You guys are just trying to cover your fucking asses here, huh? Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, as some people would say, we're just a bunch of extortionists.
Yeah.
Shout out to California. How you doing?
No, I'm just joking. I didn't hear that.
Sure. So the real,
it does have to go into it though.
Yeah, so
Right.
a lot of that stuff and where we're at now comes with speculation, right? Because some things were like settled and some things are finished and done with and are not public to my knowledge. But the real jux of it is yes. Like those things definitely impacted the future of Wizards of the Coast and their relationship to the judge program. My takeaway on this is like, normally in a lot of legal proceedings, especially like with companies and stuff like that, once you start doing something that you're suing someone for, that company generally isn't going to change their practices right away, because that can, I assume, be used against them as like, like you were doing this and then we took you to court over it and now you've changed. Kind of, this looks kind of guilty, you know? It's like, maybe you were doing something wrong here. Let's talk about that. So companies usually like stick to the same, or by legal order are told like you can't change XYZ thing until we've seen this whole thing through.
So you think that like all that settled out then?
I think that last year a bunch of those things all finished out, and then Wizards of the Coast sat down with their lawyers and their CEOs and Hasbro and stuff like that. And I think that the lawyer said like, this is kind of an unhealthy business relationship that you guys have entered into, and you should probably get out. And I think that then Hasbro turned around and said, get the fuck away from this. We're tired of this stuff. I think that's kind of been their move with almost everything, unfortunately. I think that's kind of why CFBE exists, is that they're like, man, if you look at the liability involved in putting on these events, like there's quite a bit of it. We don't want to take that on. Instead, let's contract somebody who, like, if somebody has a problem with, they can point the finger at them. And so it's a safety valve for a company that's continuing to grow and get bigger and bigger. They're trying to protect themselves, and I totally respect that. But at the same time, like, if you've been doing something for so long and then you're like, well, we're going to change it now, people are going to have an adverse reaction to that. Especially if, with the case of Judge Academy, if you're doing something for free for a very, very long time, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, all that free stuff that you're used to, now we're going to charge you for it?
Dude, that's how I pay my employees, with store credit. I pay all of my employees. I've never paid them a dime. And
I get paid in
Do you know what dimes are?
Nope, I know what soup labels are.
Yeah, listen, Richie gets to go up in the pantry. And
I know what dimes are. Dimes are elvish mystics and stuff like that. Sorry. Visionaries? Elvish visionaries? Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, he's here. Sweet. Yeah, so just like you kind of see here on the screen is that now there is a membership fee
this
be a
is-
judge based on your
oh,
level,
God,
right?
Here we go. This is
Yeah.
all I've heard.
So Wizards of the Coast says, like, hey, we're done with our lawsuits. Judge program leadership, program coordinators, regional coordinators, we need to speak with you at the table, please. Join up. And, yeah, we are no longer interested in working with you in your current state and form. We need you to figure something out, change it up, come back to the table once you are no longer this odd entity known as the judge program. And until then, have a great day. And my timetable isn't perfect, so my numbers are a little bit rough
That's
here.
okay.
But
no one's fact checking you, man.
I think that what happened is that the program coordinators, the regional coordinators, the higher ups of the judge program, basically, our leadership of the judge program,
Sure.
they knew that this change was coming approximately like 8 months. You know, they're like, man, Wizards doesn't like us anymore. Like, we got to figure something else out. What are we going to do? And then they kind of talked it out and maybe argued about it a little bit here and there and maybe tried to get Wizards to do something left, right, or center. And
Yeah, sure.
and Wizards just
Behind
like
the scenes.
just like, no, like that, we're not interested in working with you guys the way you are. Maybe Wizards said we're not interested in working with you as a nonprofit. I'm not sure. Maybe that's something that could have been put out there. But the Judge Academy started talking around with other like kind of senior members, as it were, and word got to Mr. Tim Shields. He is the owner of a game store called Cascade Games. They do a lot of big events, including Gen Con. Maybe you've heard of it,
Yeah,
Josh.
I've
I
heard
think
of.
I think maybe you've heard of it.
I've heard of Gen Con.
Yeah.
I was actually there this weekend.
Yeah.
Flex.
Flex for Gen Con.
Yeah.
Gen Con's pretty sweet. I've never been myself, but I hear nothing but awesome stuff, and I see
I need to
really
make it
cool
out one
pictures
time.
all the time. You were telling me earlier how like it's something that you really want to go
Yeah.
and do, and I encourage people to do that kind of stuff because like it's nothing but positive nerd culture, and we can't get enough of that, right?
No, absolutely.
Maybe
not.
Josh will actually learn what Naruto is at a Gen Con. one
Yeah,
time.
we'll get a Naruto run scheduled at Gen Con.
Now, can I talk about the membership fee, because that's a lot of the negativity that I'm hearing about.
Well, I think this is the direct result of Wizards saying like we don't want to work with you as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
So Tim Shields says, well, let's be a for-profit. Let's just make it a company. Well, if we're going to make it a company and it's going to be for-profit, well, then we got to bring in money. Well, how are we going to bring in money? Well, we charge membership fees. Ta-da! Here we are.
Okay. So the thing is that the world doesn't just run on like sugar canes and gummy drops, right?
That's all I put in my engine.
Wait, I thought the world ran on dabs.
Ooh.
It does. Now, so
The world is a bad place.
with me being a business
No, the
owner,
world is a dab place.
with me being a business owner, and being able to look at this through the eyes of a business owner, like, and not through, just some young guy that lives in his mom's basement.
I'm not in the basement.
You guys don't live in the basement?
No. Do you have a basement?
I
We
live
don't
in a
even
trailer.
have
And that
basements.
plays games.
We don't even have basements.
I was just trying to give a shout out to my. Okay, so anyways, now
Look,
you
you're
mean
not
at
Terrence.
tcgplayerpro.com? Is that
that's
what
your
you meant?
favorite line.
Sorry.
That's your favorite
I
line.
love it.
So yeah, for those guys that just want to show up and play Magic and don't really give a shit about what's going on with the judges and who comes over to say, oh, whoa, you've got too many, you don't have enough cards in
Where
your
the
hand.
fuck do these cards come
Yeah,
from?
let me give you some. Let me give you some extra cards in your
Fuck
hand.
you.
But for those guys that don't really care about that, this is something that is very. It just looks like
It's kind of
they're-
polarizing.
Yeah, it is. It's polarizing. They're looking at it like, oh, of course they're going to charge more money. Of course Wizards going to do this. Everything's going up. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
that's not what this is,
No.
I don't think.
It's not.
Because, like I said, I can't just pay Richie. I can't pay him in store credit.
Nope.
I can't pay my other employees in store credit. I can't pay to go to this Gen Con this past
Can
weekend.
you
I
pay,
don't get to
can you
go
pay
for
your gas
free.
bill in
Yeah.
store credit?
No.
What about your water bill?
Are you paying Chris in store credit?
Yeah, basically. He's paying me in store credit that comes in the form of friendship
Yes.
I thought he paid you in Chinese food.
and kisses.
Oh.
We call them Chinese kisses.
So
Oh.
I guess I
Is that where
wanna
like
be-
you guys' lips get stuck together and you can't get loose?
And then when we pull apart, there's a piece of paper between us.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to be on the side of you guys are talking about kissing. I'm trying to. I'm trying to get through.
This is
Josh,
a
could you-
serious podcast,
could
Josh.
you
trying to
please
get through
focus
one
here?
thought. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Get on the same topic as us,
But-
guys.
Sure.
But yeah, I want people to realize that they are trying to turn this into a business.
Yes.
Right, and it's just like, it's like what you said. Things have to be done business-like, and you can't just do everything for free, and that's where this is going to come into play. And for those people that want to be a part of something, how about this? We can relate it to something that some people may know. What if you want to go fishing? Right?
Yeah.
What if you want to go hunting?
Uh-huh.
You have to pay a membership, quote, here's my air quotes for you on SoundCloud.
Sure.
You have to pay a fee
Yeah.
to go and
Hunter's
do that.
license?
Yes.
A fishing license?
Correct, and that's what this is going to be. All you're doing is you're upping for your license
Mm-hmm.
to support your community,
Mhm.
to go fishing, hunting and fishing. Now, hunting and fishing, that's a luxury, right?
Sure.
And so they even say it in the guidelines. It's a luxury. It's something that you want to do, and it's something. There's rules that you have to follow.
And this money goes towards supporting those habitats and making
Correct.
sure
It
that
goes-
these things are an
It
enjoyable
goes
thing
back
that lasts.
into the community.
Yeah.
Air quotes again, SoundClouders.
Sure.
But it goes back into that, and so that's a parallel, right?
Mhm.
And you guys can see that it's not just Wizards of the Coast is out there gouging motherfuckers for money again.
Wizards isn't getting a cent of this.
Yes.
None
and
of this
so-
is going to them.
Yeah. So what it's doing is it's probably not. You know what? I guarantee you, it's not even enough.
It's probably not.
I will guarantee you, it is not enough, and they probably will.
I'll call it right now. This time next year, they're going to be talking about announcements about these membership fees increasing.
Yes, and now it says RA free or $50.
Yeah.
Level 1 $100. I guarantee you, for them to even break even, they're probably not breaking even because they can't just lay the hammer down on you guys and
Nope.
be like, "This is what it actually costs."
I think this might be barely breaking even because there's a little bit more to it behind the scenes than this. We'll get into it in a second. But like to hit on your comment about like does this affect you and stuff like that, in the wide spectrum, yes it does, because judges affect players and communities and events and stuff like that. In the like micro thing, like no, if you're not a judge, this doesn't affect you, like directly affect you. Like
no, it does not. But
that's the most vocal people that we were seeing, like in the internet space, is like, oh, judges are volunteers, and they shouldn't be charged to do their thing that they're volunteering for.
That's
It's like,
actually
well,
what I was about to.
but judges are not volunteers. We don't work for free. We are highly skilled individuals that care about our communities and our events, and because of that, like, we're really good at what we do. And if you're good at something, you should never do it for free. These people are sacrificing. These are people that are working 40 to 60-hour jobs on their own and then sacrificing their weekends because they want to be part of a Magic event and making that organizational kind of stuff go off and answer questions, like solving puzzles. Like this is what we kind of get out of it.
It's a community builder. It's just like it's exactly what we are doing right now. We're trying to educate people and say, hey, this is how it's affecting you. And those people that judge, they're doing the same thing. They want to be out there and they want to help and they want to build and strengthen our community.
So like this, like you were talking about with like hunter's license, fisher's license and stuff like that, that's a hobby, right? That's something that you do in your spare time with your extra money and stuff like that.
Just like Magic the Gathering.
Just like Magic the Gathering. And guess what? If your buddy wants to start playing Modern and he can afford to do so, then why are you going to start bitching about the price of Modern for your buddy? Like, he's willing to pay $20, $50 or whatever for whatever card, so be it. That's
a buy-in for the
That's
year.
his hobby. That's what you're investing into your hobby, and hobbies are always an investment. This is judges investing in their hobby to continue and oversee the actual growth and prosperity of their program.
Because literally you guys can't even play Magic, to be honest. I've never seen a judge good
I barely know how to read.
Normally, if I see a judge play Magic, it's only for like 2 rounds.
Wait, Chris, didn't you win some kind of like Pauper tournament one time or something?
No, it's
How dare you
Frontier.
insinuate that I've played Pauper?
Hey, Pauper's a more real format than Frontier.
Dude, everything that I see about Pauper makes it look extremely fun to me and stuff like that, and I know it's sanctioned and everything, and I want to start doing more of it at Pandemonium. I'm just trying to find a day for it to fit
Hot
on the
take?
schedule, please.
The to be announced SCGs and GPs, one of them will at least be Pauper.
That's a good take.
We will have a Pauper SCG or GP main event by the end of this year.
I think you might have some kind of like team Pauper-esque event, whether it's Team Pauper across like 3 players or it's like a split format Pauper Standard Modern.
We take
Because
out
sometimes
Legacy.
Legacy's the hard one to find. Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah. I think it's a strong possibility.
Okay.
But anyways, this is this is a hobby, and I think that the real thing that is causing that a lot of that negativity that you guys have been seeing online is players and judges that are not invested in their hobby. And I don't mean that on the monetary scale. I mean that they're just not that into it. They just kind of do it because their store needs somebody to answer questions now and then. And that's perfect for what an RA can be. An RA is a rules advisor. This is an old program that I had a hot take about as soon as they announced, like, hey, we got some changes coming. I was like, oh, sweet. RA's coming back in some way, shape, or form. Instead, we got just exact RA.
So what is RA?
RA is basically...
I thought it was a sushi place in
great.
Chicago.
An RA is a rules advisor. It's a player, slight staff kind of guy. So this is somebody that has.
You?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as much of an RA as a square is a rectangle, if that makes any sense.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, even the highest judge is still an RA.
Right, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Is like if you can do this level of mastery, well then you can do this level of mastery also.
Okay.
It doesn't require you to necessarily do the exact same things, but like if you can do this, you can fit this bar as well.
Okay.
So an RA is somebody that is interested in the rules, in answering questions and helping out at events in some way, shape, or form, but doesn't have the skills and training for like interacting with the players, figuring out how to do the investigations, how to actually do round turnover, what to do if there's some like conflict that's going on. Like this is just somebody that like has done some paperwork to like prove that they know enough about the game that they can answer simple questions. So for instance, you know how you and some of your friends, when you guys have a question, like you'll reach out to me, you'll shoot me a message or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense because like I've been judging for you for years now. But at the same time, like that's kind of what an RA is really great at, is like shoot me the question, give me the cards, like it's like, hey, in this hypothetical situation, how does this work? RAs are great for that, absolutely wonderful for that, because they've got that knowledge. But for running events, for understanding how to seat a draft pod, why we do it the way we do it, and how your round should, or your each round should flow after that, that training goes to the next like stage or the next level. That's a level 1 judge, or at least that's what a level 1 judge should be.
So like the judges in training that we have in Pando would
Sure.
be considered an RA technically.
Yes and no. So Bree Clark, Bree Carol Clark, is one of my judgelings, is what I've been calling them for a long time. And in the past, I would have my judgelings go through and take the rules advisor exam, but that went away 2 years ago, a year and a half ago or so. I think it's been at least 2 years. And that would be part of their training, because it would really line up with some of like the rules knowledge of like how do you cast a spell and stuff like that. But I'm not interested in just producing RAs or just producing level 1 judges. I'm interested in producing like high quality judges. So Bree is super overqualified to be an RA, but she's just under what would be required for an L1 under my guidelines. Bree could sit down and she could pass her L1 with little ease, but like I want her to be able to take it in the most confidence and come out of it on the other end being like, yeah, I absolutely knew all that stuff from the beginning, and I'm just gonna crush it as soon as I walk out to an event.
Much like how I think our most recent L1 was Canada, correct?
Yeah, Mr.
And
Stephen Bray.
He passed it with 100%, right?
He crushed it 100%. He just worked his first like really big major event at Gen Con. And
I didn't even see him there.
He worked with Scott, right?
Yep, he was working under Scott Marquardt, who's another fantastic
Scott.
judge. Scott is wonderful. Great person, great judge.
I gotta hang out with that guy. You always tell me how awesome he is. And
He is.
I've
Scott's
never
great.
had a chance.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Scott and Jesse are like
Like,
my two favorite.
Jesse's
LPs.
wonderful. Jesse Meyring's awesome too. But Scott's wonderful. His wife is freaking awesome. She's like a real life hardcore like blacksmith.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying. I have no guarantees, but little behind the scenes spoiler alert is I'm got her working on like
Some assless chaps.
no on like our
need-
own personal bronze statue for our upcoming modern MCQ later this year in September. I think that would be pretty fucking sweet.
Okay.
So we're looking at that right now.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But anyways, Canada Canada crushed the whole thing and immediately had a thirst for more, right? He just wanted to build communities. He got into judging because he finally had the time. He's always had an interest, but he wanted to be able to like have the ability to like really interact and reach people and push them toward our Sealed Deck League. It's his favorite event. It's a wonderful community-driven event, and it's laid back and chill. So he's a real big pusher for that event, and it helped push him through judging. He just wants to continue to spread that like Magic is great, like come do more Magic kind of mentality. So that's been really good for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So an RA would Bree qualify? Not on paper because she hasn't taken that test because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But would I tell her to do it? Yeah, probably as part of her upcoming training. But like, is she of just RA quality? No, she's a lot more than that. Like she's RA is very basic in my understanding or opinion of like judging as far as that goes. If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
I'm not saying that RAs are like abysmal or anything like that. I'm saying that RAs is like this is your entry point.
In the past, because I've been around for so long, RA now means 0 compared to what RAs used to be.
Yeah, there is no
and that
rules
was
advisor.
So bad back then.
Yeah.
Like when they first started, like, you know, you could have anybody be a rules advisor.
Yeah.
And it was just, and you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That's not how this works.
Well, I'm a rules advisor. Like
Yes.
I've done my certification, so that's how it works, man.
Yeah, and that, you know, but
And like sometimes
again,
that's right, and
years
sometimes
ago.
it's just wrong. And,
Yeah,
and
that was years ago.
the big wrong part of that is that they don't have those soft skills training. They don't have that player interaction training. It's not just like what. For instance, Richie, if you ever had a judge interaction where you're like, I'm not sure it works like that, do you expect the judge to be like, well, you have the right to an appeal? Or do you expect the judge to say, well, I'm an L2, so that's, you know, you're like, I'm doing it right. What are you going to do about it?
I expect them to say you have the right to the appeal.
Right, and that's because they have those soft skills training. They have the like, okay, you know, you're entitled to your opinion about it. Let me see if I can get somebody else to back me up in what I'm saying here, because you know I'm human. Sometimes I make a mistake. I'll be right back for you, sir. That kind of stuff.
So I scrolled down here, Chris, and for those people, maybe not just, again, going back to looking at it from the outside in as a player, you know, players only really know, I'd say about what, like maybe 2 things about judging, and one of them is
promos,
right?
Yeah.
And so we as players, as maybe even those collectors, we hunger for those judge promos.
Oh yeah,
right?
they're beautiful, right? Yeah.
No, for real, they are.
I know they are.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, I'm
Piece
dead
of
serious.
shit.
They're
All right.
fucking gorgeous.
So-
You've gotten a lot of them, haven't
Well,
you?
thank you. I mean, not as many as others, but
What
thanks,
are you
buddy.
thanking him for?
Well, for like, you know, kind of like it's a little bit of recognition, or at least in the past.
Because in the past you had to actually you had to be recommended for them, correct?
Right. We had a program called the Exemplar Program, which was like, hey, you did something extraordinary, and an L2 or L3 has recognized that, and they feel that you should earn something for your extra work. Here's a cool gift, and the gift was like a packet of judge foils. That's how those got out into the world outside of like conferences.
Okay, gotcha.
It wasn't like how it appears to be now, where if you pay
It's
for your
part of
membership, you will get.
It's a benefit to having good standing, certification up to date, and a fully paid membership. It is not a membership
So that's the
fee
future of
like
judge
do.
promos.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. So like this that you have actually on the screen now that I'm looking at it has that kind of laid out. Supposedly each year there'll be 10 judge foils. 8 of them will be for like 2 waves of packets that you'll receive. The first packet in January, the later packet in July. I think it's July. And then 2 will be specifically for conferences to still push judges to like go out, do these like training things and stuff like that. Which, by the way, I have a mock tournament judge conference coming up at the end of this month. And I was kind of hoping that Richie, you'd be interested in helping out at that.
Yeah, it depends on what it is, but if I.
Oh no, you're gonna cancel everything.
Oh, okay.
It'll be fun. I'll tell you all
Yeah,
about it later.
I'm excited for it.
So now the new thing is twice a year you'll get a packet of cards as long as you're in good standing and all this other stuff, right?
Okay.
And then you'll have a couple of these that are just to appear at the conferences as a hey, thanks for coming out and participating in the conference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that the judge program, I think that's a very solid thing that you guys do.
Yeah.
Because it not only, and that's the other thing too that's crazy that that these people on the internet are talking about, and they're just like, oh my God, you got to pay a membership fee, and so now you're going to be getting what, like probably 3 times your money, maybe even.
I mean,
just
so
in cards
looking
back?
at this board right now, say you're an L1.
Sure.
You get,
Hi,
I
I'm an
believe,
L1.
yeah, I believe you get 1 promo.
He's-
Is what it
he's a
was for
L.5.
being an L1.
I get
So-
I get 1 set of yearly packets,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So of these promos that we have on screen right now,
Chalice of the Void,
Monastery Mentor, Reflecting Pool, Yuriko, you can probably sell that Chalice of the Void for your entry fee.
probably, yeah.
Okay.
And then-
And that's one
Yeah.
of the 2 packets
And
that
when-
I'm guaranteed to receive by being in good standing with my membership and my certification.
Yes. As an L2, you get 2, which I believe is $200. So same philosophy.
Yeah.
Sell your chalices, get them out into the community.
Yep.
You have the rest of your promos or whatever.
Yep.
And as an L3, you get a playset.
Yep.
Which $400, sell
Yep.
your chalices.
Now,
So to me, it all seems pretty straightforward.
I feel like it's pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
listen. I'm trying my best to hate this program with everybody else on the internet. I'm serious.
Yeah, well,
But you gotta
the
you
players
gotta show
are
it to me.
a lot of these
Why?
people that are upset
Yeah.
are people that are not judges and don't have an
Yeah, I was
understanding
gonna
of the
say,
program.
from what I've seen on like Twitter and Facebook, it's more the players that seem upset, not the judges.
Or the Reddit one's
Like-
really awful too. It's like
Well, I don't
the
get on that.
anonymity is
No one
sometimes
goes on Reddit, do
toxic.
they?
Well, Judge Academy was like, hey, we understand there's a lot of like feedback going on, and like we want to be a part of it. We want to answer your questions. So they didn't ask me anything, an AMA on Reddit, and it went pretty well, except for like they kind of put their foot in the mouth a few times. I feel like they really misrepresented themselves as a business a couple times. These are not, to my understanding, business professionals. I don't think anybody there is like a marketing major or anything, or stuff like that.
They don't have like a Josh Warren working there.
I think that outside of like Tim Shields, nobody has done a company of this kind of like job posting board equivalency, and so sometimes they answered questions and it made it very clear that they didn't know how things were going to work and weren't sure that that was even something that they should have been thinking about before. And it's like, guys, like,
That's not what you want to say.
that's not what you want to at least put forward. If somebody puts a new idea in your company's head, then like, okay, cool, that's awesome for you guys to like talk about internally, but like you want to at least make it seem like, okay, yeah, that's great feedback. That's something that we've been discussing internally. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have a direct answer that I can give you because this is all still a big process. This is something that I think in this FAQ, they talk about how they've only been working on this for about 4.5 months, which is kind of in line with my timeline. I thought that before I read this that they were doing about 3 months, so I was excited to see that they had a little bit extra time.
This is kind of in the beta testing, I'm
Yeah.
guessing, but they're just getting it out because like it takes when you want to produce something. Even I know with our business that if you're going to do something, it's not overnight.
No.
You can't just develop what this is the academy. You can't just develop an academy and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we worked it out in a month. It's good to go.
I think you and I, when we were just putting together our stream show, I think we talked about that and started laying things out on paper and stuff like that for at least a month beforehand. And that, compared to this, is small change,
Yeah, I mean, shit, like we're working on our store right now online and getting up like just t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that on Shopify, and I mean it is like we only get to work on it like twice a week.
It's work.
And it's gonna take us probably 6 months to get that thing looking like a real Shopify store. Or like
absolutely.
even like our Patreon, like all that stuff.
Our stream.
Yeah, our stream that we're on every single day almost, except for 2 days right now or 1 day.
Well,
Saturday.
we don't have anybody stream actual Magic the Gathering, but we
Yes.
do our podcast.
We
today.
do our podcast on Monday.
And then we don't have a set streamer for Saturday.
Yeah, and so I mean we're on 6 days a week. And
Want to
that-
stream for Mom's Basement Games? Shoot us an email at momsbasementgames at
Don't
yahoo.com.
bring up the Yahoo.
He actually knows the email. I'm
Yeah, I
impressed.
fucking know that email.
Oh,
I
don't
hate
bring up the
Yahoo.
How many
Yahoo.
times have you sent to that email?
I've had to try and log into that email. That's the frustrating part, is Yahoo email.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So, and
I love you.
it's no flex. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, we've.
Oh
got
yeah,
this
we
stuff.
use Yahoo. Ugh.
We
AOL,
but-
motherfucker.
I can again, as a business owner, look at this through those eyes and say, I'm not sure where the bad.
Where's it coming from?
Misconception.
Yeah, where's it coming from?
We have to
I'll tell you.
spend money.
Rip your ears, indeed. So
Yeah,
the real misconception is that judges have been getting all this stuff for free. Why is Wizards of the Coast now going to charge them?
But it's not Wizards of the Coast, yeah.
Wizards of the Coast is trying to separate themselves and protect themselves as a business, as any business in their right
That's
mind
cool.
should.
That's really good.
Judge Academy is the old judge program leadership trying to hang on to and maintain their program that existed in a new form so that Wizards will continue to agree to work with them. This is how the judge program stays organized. This is how promos continue to be be
Because they don't make the Judge Academy is not the one that makes the promos.
No.
It is Wizards, correct?
And this is where this gets to the heart of like, are we going to even cover our overhead? And I think that yes, they're at least covering their overhead, but for what they need to do to make this thing a continuing expense and making sure that they have experienced, expert people, passionate people working behind this, not just like judges that also are bioengineers, because they know bioengineering and they know judging. Do they know business and marketing? Probably not, you know?
Yeah, correct.
But anyways, to pay for all of that kind of stuff, well, they need to bring in money, and if you're just charging your, I don't know, 16 or 6,000, whatever it may be, hundreds of thousands of members, like, sure, like, you get there. But with what the judge program is and the little bit of fall off that we're going to have, and then the slow regrowth of getting people into this new program, like, you would probably just break even.
Yeah, and I'd like to...
I think that that's not what's happening here, though, already. Because behind the scenes here, there's a conversation between Wizards of the Coast, Judge Academy, and Asmodee Games.
What's Asmodee Games?
Have you heard of the very popular card game called Keyforge?
Yeah.
Well, then you've heard of Asmodee Games. Asmodee Games is a very big board game producer.
Okay.
They do a bunch of stuff, and the Keyforge, almost forgot its name there, has been a very growing in popularity game. It's great for like show up, get the deck, crack it open, play, have fun kind of mechanic. It's very simple, straightforward. You don't really need to bring all that much with you. You don't have to like, come with like, oh, what's the meta going to be like and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's more just like, this is my deck. It's already pre-built. Let's play. Let's have some fun kind of things. So when you do that in person and you do that at large scale, like you want to hold a Keyforge event at say Gen Con or Comic Con or whatever else, you got to get to a point where you have staff that understand your game enough to run it and answer questions about it. Well, those people are normally called judges, and judges don't work for free, and judges don't learn for free generally either. It's like in the past, like experience has been a big part of like our payment. It's like we're learning from somebody that knows really well, but there is nobody that understands Keyforge on like a judge kind of certification level. So instead, the payment is going to have to come in to make a development of that program. That's what Judge Academy is. We are a company that is willing to develop training modules and then certify people so that they meet your needs to make sure that your events and your games go smoothly.
So this isn't even just Magic.
This is not just Magic. This is Asmodee Games, Keyforge, potentially Transformers in the future, which does come from Hasbro.
So is this just Hasbro games then, or?
No, because Asmodee is its own separate
thing.
company.
Got it.
So Judge Academy's here, Wizards of the Coast over here, and Asmodee over here, and these people come and talk to these people, and then these people produce trained people and say, hey, these are the guys that can help you out. Go and give them money. So this is a company that is basically developing training so that they can produce or at least certify and say, yes, this person knows what they're doing. They're who you want to staff for your event.
You know, I used to think it was crazy that, you know, at like, I don't know, midnight after I've had too much to drink and I wanted Taco Bell. And I thought to myself, how am I going to get that Taco Bell?
Yeah, Taco Bell's
And
closed.
some fucking genius thought, I'm going to deliver it to his friend.
Oh, that's even better. That's the new age Taco
and so
Bell stuff.
you can order
DoorDash.
You can just DoorDash, Taco Bell, and
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here is they're just figuring out a way to make things just a little bit smoother.
Yes.
And they're also, you know, they're the middleman.
Yes.
But you know who gets paid? The middleman.
The middleman gets paid.
Middleman gets paid because they're doing the work and they're figuring it out.
They got the overhead. They've got to create these things
Yes.
from nothing.
Yes, and so Basically, that's what it is. They're just developing this business,
So-
that's going to help the community.
So to the judges that are like, why should I pay you for something that I've been getting for free for years through
Yes.
the Judge App's website, which is
negativity.
kind of like our main headquarters for Judge Program stuff,
Mhm.
is like, well, you shouldn't pay us for that stuff because that's not the stuff that we're going to produce. We're going to produce new stuff based on
Better
that old
stuff.
stuff, and
Yep.
it's going to be better. It's going to be modern. It's going to be more user centric
Friendly.
and friendly. Yeah. And we're also going to develop for these games and produce certified people for this and that, and we're going to put you in touch with these organizers when we recognize your skills and how quickly you advance and all those kind of things.
So eventually, do you see? You mentioned that they're already in the talks for like Keyforge. Do you eventually see this going to like a Yu-Gi-Oh?
There it
Pokemon?
is. There it is. That's the main one. Is I guarantee you, as soon as this announcement went out, Konami was looking at the Judge Academy and being like, "Hey, how do you guys work? Can we set up a meeting?" I guarantee you that amongst all this chaos, Konami is either reaching out or they are watching intently for what the Judge Academy can provide, because from not the direct inside, but from like the tournament organizer standpoint, who works with Konami on a fair amount of things, including regionals and stuff like that, their judge program really needs work. It
Yeah,
is
I've-
not the Magic Judge program.
I've never heard anything good about the Yu-Gi-Oh Judge program.
I don't know I can't remember her last name. I think it starts with an H. But the person that's in charge of all their judge program stuff, her name is Julia, and she works for Konami, and she's really nice, but she's also really busy.
Okay.
So their judge program does not advance as quickly as ours does, and adjust to problems and stuff like that. So if Konami, who when Wizards started getting sued by the judges, this is what they did with their judge program, and nobody blew up about it for some reason. Oh, it's because it's not as big a deal. Their judge program is an internal thing that doesn't get as much press. What they did is they had their judges all have to sign a waiver to maintain their certification that said that basically we understand we are not employees and we waive all rights to sue you on any grounds and basis thereof. So all of those lawsuits that came out for Wizards, Konami was like, oh, we got to get ahead of this, like ship it. Like it wasn't like how do we restructure this and make this better. It was just like, no, we need everyone to just like
Stop suing us.
We need everyone to like not even have a chance at getting anything out of this.
So, Chris,
So-
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Where do you want to see?
That was a sliding glass door.
Where do you want to see this judge program go? Like, now that they're setting it off to the side and they're saying, hey, listen, this isn't just gonna be the same old program that we had in the past. We'd like to take it a little bit more serious. We'd like to develop it. We'd like to basically look at it as it's very similar to like tournament organizing.
Sure.
Like if you were just to open up your own tournament organization and make your own judges and get them all certified, it's same thing.
Which
right?
is what would have happened here if this didn't happen.
Yes, it would have just became like somebody would have picked up a company,
Right.
and then boom, that's
Right.
it, right?
Well, CFB. So, Star City Games, they have a core team. They have a team that rotates. I think it's like every year or every 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
They're a set of judges that are very experienced, like judges that have been doing it for years and have done it all, kind of thing.
Yeah.
These are the people that are in charge of like staffing basically the rest of the event, picking out and training the new judges and making sure that everything goes smoothly. That is their core team. These are people that are contracted through SCG to do this for each and every one of their events for that time allotment. If the judge program had fallen to the wayside, Wizards would have told CFBE to
Hey,
create
guess
their
what?
own core
Yes, guess
team
what? You've got to pick
and
this up.
maintain it and train it, and that would have been it. You know who would have suffered? All your local Magic.
Yep.
All the judge program projects that exist within judge program, judge
Which I
apps
know
and all
you
that
did a
stuff.
bunch of them, didn't you?
I've done a bunch of them. I've done a lot of behind the scenes ones that work directly with TOs and stuff like that, and it's work, man. And you really do kind of do that stuff because you just have the passion for it and you want to grow it. It's not that anybody is like, hey man, if you do this, I'm going to give you some foils. Like it's not that. That's not what the heart of the judge program truly is. That's just a bonus. And in all honesty, this is still what it is. We're just now paying so that somebody maintains the course and is getting like the money that's necessary to pay people to do it professionally and produce these new things for the ever-changing world.
Okay, so now what? I kind of
Where do I want to see it?
I want to do a two-part question,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Where do you want to see this go?
Sure.
Okay, and then I'll get you back on track for the second one because
Okay.
it'll probably be at 30 fucking minutes.
We'll be talking about
yeah,
DBZ
so
at that point.
Where do you want to see this thing go?
Okay.
And what are the negativities / what are the pitfalls for this thing? How could this thing go wrong? And I think as players, I think that's
Great
what everybody wants to know is where does this need to go / where do you want it to go? Because you're a judge. You're
Sure.
here. You're ingrained in this. This is your community. This is what you want to see happen overall in a good way. And second, how can this thing turn to shit?
Yeah.
And that's what
And it can.
that's what players want to
can.
hear, because if we as players don't have judges, well then we're kind of fucked, right?
Sure.
Or we have to have, you know, those old school RAs that we talked about, you know, for a little while that, you know, it's just going to be bad. So go ahead.
First of all, I want to see, because you mentioned the RAs, I want this to produce an RA program that produces like fully respectable RAs. Not just like, oh, that's Tim. He answers our question. He's kind of a dick, but like he did the RA test. Like that was never a fun thing that did exist within the old program.
Correct.
I want this to produce somebody that gives a damn and maybe
absolutely.
cares about going a little bit further. I'm not saying it has to be a stepping stone. I don't think any of these levels should be stepping stones to the next one. I don't think that's the heart of this at all. I would love to see this continue to grow, continue to like be a like, hey, other companies, come talk to us. We're the professionals. We'll make this happen. By the way, bring your checkbook. I want Konami to show up at the table and be like, hey, we want to separate ourselves from our judge program as much as possible so that we don't have any kind of liabilities and stuff. And we just want you guys to make sure that we have more trained individuals and that they're easily identifiable, so on and so forth. And that, you know, they're just good at what they do. That's what I want to see out of this. I want this to continue to grow and prosper, and I want it to be a full-on company. I feel like that's not quite what they're pushing for, but I think that this is an excellent step towards something that could be hugely beneficial for the Magic communities in general.
If they take this seriously and they develop it and they put time into it and effort, you think that it can be a good thing, right?
Absolutely. I think that if they get the right people in the right places, speaking and working and the ones that work behind the scenes on the right projects, I feel like this can be a true business.
Yeah, because like, listen, we don't have. There's no kickbacks coming to us for us to sit here and talk about how, man, this is going to be awesome, and like, you really thought this was going to be dog shit, you know, I want to hear it.
I would tell you how pissed off I was if I thought this was going to be dog shit, but I'm going to tell you.
Chris likes to get pissed off.
Yeah, absolutely. For the last year at least, I've been working behind the scenes to try and make some of these changes actually happen. And a bunch of the time I've gotten that like, oh, well, you know, there's kind of already internal talks about that, so we'll bring that back up in the future. And I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm excited, you know? I think that almost everything that's here is definitely for the best, is the step in the right direction.
Now
But
it
needs the proper oversight. It needs the people that are business minded. You're not trying to like become super multi-millionaire company or anything like that. But this should be like, we're trying to develop professionals, and we're going to send those professionals around the world to make more professionals. There's a mention in here that I got clarification from them on, but there's a mention in here about requiring L2 shadowing when necessary for certification of an L1. That's kind of an old practice that we would do, and it's very effective. It's basically what all my judges do with me. It's like, I have to see you do it. I can't just like get an email from somebody a state over and be like, hey, can you test me real quick on this? Because I'm like, no.
Right.
I'm not going to sign off that I know that you know how to do these things. I've never seen you do them. Prove to me that you can do it. That's what shadowing is. You follow me around. You see what I do. I follow you around. I see if you can do it too.
And that was something that was already in effect, correct?
That was already in effect, right. But this company, that was more of like a recommendation. And now this company is saying that like there's a potential for that to become a requirement. Well, if you're going to require that, and this applies to so many things else within this company, if you're going to require that, well, then you're going to need staff. This company is all about making sure that people are paid for the work that they're done, like actually paid, not just compensated with like a box or some promos or something like that. No, paid.
Yes.
We're going to 1099 you. We're going to contract you out.
Yes.
We're going to bring you on. You're going to be an employee. You know?
Again,
No, so judges are gonna
wrapping it all the way back down to the business.
Don't be
man.
tired. Don't be tired.
You got to pay people money.
You gotta pay.
So judges are gonna be getting paid cash now.
Oh yeah, they'll be contracted employees. So they'll pick somebody up for like 6 months, and they say, hey, we're gonna ship you up and down the East Coast. We need you to go to these different events, PAX East, Gen Con, blah blah blah, and
Now,
we need you to have training seminars.
If they were smart, it would be just like, maybe there'd be an app for that, right?
Sure.
Where there's stuff going on, and you can go in there and accept that shit and be like, oh, I'd love to go there. Hell yeah.
The trouble
Sign me
with
up.
that is that mentoring is it's an exhausting process that somebody has to be not only willing to do under you, but willing to do through another person. Like it's a give and take for sure. It's not just like, oh well, I show up and I watch you do stuff and yeah, okay, check the box. It's like, no, I care about your progress and I want to see you progress. So I got to find the best ways to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's mentoring. That's the true heart of it. But this company, I think, could be something that generates those kind of jobs and positions, things that judges have wanted. Some judges have wanted for basically ever. They want to do this because they're so passionate about it. They want this to be their full-time job, their full-time career. Getting contracted to this company, this Judge Academy, to do something like that, to like go to conferences or to organize conferences that you then do special training at and special seminars at or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a lot of judges' dream, is to be able to do that and to be able to then support themselves doing it, not just like do it as an extra fun thing where then I have to turn around and hope to sell these foils or these boxes or whatever it may be.
I know this like really, really super handsome, short, fat, red bearded guy that did that
Okay.
with magic cards.
I thought you were talking. I thought
you
you were
were
slowly leading to me.
Yeah, so did I.
And then I was like, "What are you talking about?
No.
I'm fucking tall as shit. My driver's license says I'm 5'10".
He was.
And then
really,
he said fat, and I was just like, wait, what?
Well, Chris is.
Thank you, Richie.
And then he said red beard, and I'm like,
It's because of your diet. By the way, Josh's diet is to eat half the food and then push the rest toward me. That's how he's like stayed so trim.
Listen, don't gum up the podcast with boring talk. All right, shut your mouth. So
It's an effective diet.
shut your mouth. So I also had a hobby where I played a bunch of
we can't
magic
talk
cards.
about that on this podcast, Josh.
18 and over, baby. I had a hobby, and I've had many people tell me, "Hey, man, you don't want to turn your hobby into a job because then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna hate your hobby."
Yeah, that old saying, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
That-
Fucking absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Listen.
I love what I do. It's still fucking work.
I know,
You gotta
but-
fucking pay me.
I'm still that.
Wait,
I don't care.
you don't just get store credit from
I am
Pandemonium?
not just a fucking volunteer.
Hey, I still love my job, and I still help to mentor people like Richie, right? Richie's a perfect example. Like, I still am in that capacity to where he's on the financial side also now, and he's getting paid real money,
Mhm.
and he's seeing that, okay, hey, look, you can make money off of this, and you don't have to just do it as a hobby.
Right.
If you want to get paid, you got to go hard. But that's the thing. When you say it takes a lot of time, you have to. Like Richie got here at 9:00 this morning. What time is it? 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7:20, right? He's still sitting here,
He rocks.
You know?
100%.
and that is a lot of time. Like, he probably wants to be vegged out in front of his TV right now at home, but he's putting in the extra work because he loves this game. He loves what he does, and it's the same thing for you.
I
Absolutely.
love everything
Absolutely.
except my boss.
Yeah, that guy's a
Piece of
prick.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
No, I 100% agree, Josh. And that's not to say, like, if you're really interested and passionate about judging, then you shouldn't maybe try and jump on, like, some of the positions that'll open up because of this. It's just, no, understand that, like, it's gonna be work. It's not just gonna be, oh, I'm just having a good time doing my judge thing whenever I want. I can, with a hobby, you can set it down whenever you want, right? When it's work, you have this responsibility.
Yes, you do.
You have to accomplish these goals. If you do not, something somewhere suffers.
Yeah, and it's it is going to be your guys' responsibility to take all of this stuff
Mhm.
and make it positive and keep it going, because we as players need you guys to do that. So
Yeah.
you guys have to take this seriously. Even if there's a few things in here that you don't like, change that shit. You
Absolutely.
know,
Absolutely.
make things better about this. So yeah, we got to move on to the next thing, Chris.
So
but
you want to know
I
how
mean,
it goes
I want
bad?
you to,
Is that
yeah, I
Okay.
want you to, yeah, you got to let us know what can go wrong here.
What can go wrong here is that they literally just do a new coat of paint. This is a different name, same old program.
Mhm.
And some people kind of are pushing like that's what it should be. I'm totally against that. It needed to change because it was a dying system. It wasn't sustainable. Just because we've inserted money into it does not make it sustainable or beneficial. It's still stagnant at that point. It can't just be a new coat of paint. It needs to be about growth. It needs to be about developing new processes.
It
about
needs to be
developing.
modernized.
Yes, it needs to be a business, and it needs to have people that are dedicated to that business. It can't just be people that are doing the business in their spare time, because then again, it's work. You have a responsibility. If something falls to the wayside because you run out of time or whatever else,
You
like-
need to be to blame.
something else suffers. And this is a company. So when somebody at the top starts fucking up, it screws everybody else up down here. And you know who really gets kicked? It's the guy on the front line who everybody sees. He's the guy standing there that's doing the judge calls or whatever. And it's like, well, there was this issue with the rulings, and this is how we were told to do it, and there hasn't been word on it since, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, that kind of shit could totally happen.
Okay.
This being kind of its own new nightmare for potential lawsuits, I think is also somewhere that this could go. Is that it could just turn into another company that has to immediately shield itself and hasn't done so well. One of the things that was said, I think, in the Reddit AMA, it was kind of showing them putting their foot in their mouth right away, but showed also their good intentions behind everything they're doing.
Okay.
However, if their lawyer was sitting next to him, I'm pretty sure he would have been like, you don't post that. Said something along the lines of like, how do you expect people to actually like pay for this and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is ridiculous having to pay a membership fee. And the answer from Judge Academy was something along the lines of, well, we understand that it's a cost, it's a new cost, but we were hoping to offset some of that cost by providing members with these promo cards. And that, I think in a court of law, you can easily draw a line between the promo cards and a monetary value at that point. Because how do you offset $100 with cardboard that are literally game pieces that the producer of which says our game pieces have no monetary value?
Yeah.
We own our game pieces in that regard. You don't get to assign a value to them.
Mm-hmm.
We all understand the secondary market exists.
Yep.
Any legal entity is not able to acknowledge the secondary market, even if they wanted to, simply because they open themselves up to lawsuits. It's like, oh, we are now associating money or a value to this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to hand you this cardboard to kind of offset some of those costs that you got coming down the line.
Correct, because it's a market and it
Right.
changes.
And if you don't say any of that, then it's like it should be pretty obvious. I mean, you guys got it right away. It's like, oh, I pay $100, I get some promos, and I could sell just the chalice and probably make that, right? That was Richie.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. As a player, you're able to see this stuff.
Right.
But
As a legal company, a
Yes.
for-profit company,
I just don't.
you can't say that.
Yeah, I don't know where the disconnect here is. Where
Yeah.
if everybody's going to start getting promos, I mean, what are you going to
Yeah.
say, that it's going to flood the market? I mean,
Well,
I don't
think so.
No,
I don't
it's
think
not.
so. But on top of that, like, this is more guaranteed promos, where in the past, like, you could be an L1 for years and years. Kevin Gwynn is one of my judges, and he's a fantastic
Worst
judge.
judge I've ever met
Oh,
in my
shut your
life.
face. Kevin Gwynn is a fantastic
Hey,
judge.
hey, you've met Chris.
Yeah, listen,
I'm right here. I'm
I
a
like-
bad guy, though.
I like Kevin, man. I don't get to talk. That's another guy. I don't get to talk to him.
I had to
Good guy.
get to know Kevin too. He's
He's quiet.
yeah. But
Good
I love
dude.
him. I love him to death. He's pulled me out of a jam many a time. But Kevin is a fantastic L1 judge that cares about his local community, his local store. He's dedicated to that.
Yeah.
He comes there every
Uh-huh.
Friday after work.
Keeps
even.
up on his training. He's passionate about it. He has fun with it and stuff like that. And, judging to him has always been a fun hobby that he cares to kind of like get involved in and give back with, kind of thing. But nothing beyond that. And a lot of judges kind of treat L1 as a stepping stone to L2. Like, you're not a real judge unless you're an L2, and that's just not true. Most judges are L1s. That is the giant basis of it. So Kevin Gwynn is one of those excellent, fantastic judges that has been an L1 for a long period of time and has very rarely received recognition for that in the form of like those exemplar promos type stuff.
Yep.
It's because he doesn't go out and interact with L2s at big events, stuff like that, so they can't see him and recommend him, and then him getting this extra promo stuff.
Well,
so
now,
this is like, hey,
if you weren't-
we're going to make sure you get some actual payback for the work that you're doing. Pay is probably a bad word, but like some actual recognition
Rewards.
for that's exactly what
Listen,
benefits.
our lawyers aren't here, bro. You don't have to
Shut
worry
up.
about it.
I'm trying to really frame it, you know.
I know. But
it's,
listen,
it's
if you weren't such a piece of shit and you would become an L2,
so I'm thinking about
just gonna
With
smoke
this no
you
program,
so
are you
hard.
actually thinking about becoming an
No,
L2?
and then
because
you
I'm
could
wondering
give
what
back
the
to
new
Kevin.
processes are going to be. I've thought about that too.
Yeah, you could start giving back to the people that need it.
Insider
right?
baseball.
Piece of crap.
L2 is not always as fun as it might
Insider
sound.
baseball,
Yeah.
are you the pitcher or the catcher?
Oh, straight up pitcher. I can't catch for shit.
Oh. So Josh is the catcher. Who's on first?
Exactly.
All right, good. All right, and that was a great podcast. Everyone have a great week. No,
This thing can definitely go tits up. But
It
that's
can.
only if they try to treat it exactly like the old program as opposed to being like, this is a new thing, you're paying for stuff, we're going to start producing stuff, and we're going to continue to push.
Okay.
So there's a lot of danger that's here. But the people that are immediately like the sky is falling, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
Like
it's okay.
there's a little bit of darkness on the horizon, but like it'll probably clear up before it even gets to you.
I like that.
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you've now come on the podcast?
I love being here, by
And-
the way. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I really
no,
do.
it was great.
I love you, man.
Yeah. I love
Anytime
guys.
you want to come on, let us know.
Yep. So, yeah, but do you feel like, in a serious note, like, do you feel like you've gotten off your chest kind of like what you needed to talk about?
Yeah, I hope so, because there's been a
Or
lot of that,
do you
like,
think-
Chris,
Oh,
how
yeah,
do you
there's
feel
been a lot
about
of
this
talk.
thing? Like, are you going to stop judging and stuff like that? I'm like, absolutely not.
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
What would
This-
you do?
This
Play like more.
What I play,
Frontier?
Magic.
Play World
Funny.
of Warcraft?
I would play Keyforge, because obviously that's where the money's
He'd
at.
play more Frontier because that's the only.
Dude, Frontier,
he's ever done
I don't care
good
who
at
says what.
Magic.
Frontier was fun. It didn't get enough time to really work itself out.
Oh, here we
Maybe
go.
it'll come back like Brawl. Who knows? Oh
Dude,
wait, no,
that's
it
a weird
it's what's that new format's
Uh,
name?
historic.
Historic. There we go.
Historic.
Because it was named after a magic mechanic for God knows what reason.
Tricky. Naming is hard. Mythic this, mythic that.
We'll
Let's
do that.
call it historically
I'm
mythic.
glad you got all this off your chest, and I wanted you to be able to come and talk about this stuff because, for me, for most of us, this is gonna sound harsh, but I could give a shit less about this, right?
It's not a big thing for
And
you.
that's-
It doesn't
yes,
have to be.
because it's not part of my life,
Right.
And every day, but it's part of my hobby. It's part of my job because if I don't have magic judges at tournaments, I don't sell magic cards, right?
Right.
And so, for me to just sit here and be like, "Oh, I don't care about it. Why am I even talking about this?" That's wrong because everybody that's part of this game, that's part of this culture, should care about this, and they should at least look into it a little bit. Right?
They should at least make sure that their local judges or interested potential rules advisors are looking on the positives of this.
Yeah.
And that is that, sure, you pay some X amount of money a year, but you're probably looking at a good return on that. Plus, you're going to bolster your own skills and be able to market yourself to potentially do more if that's really what you want to do. And if not, well, then you're just going to kick ass for your local community, which is just going to grow and love you to death and
Seeing
make
exactly
you your own personal fake cards and other beautiful oddities here and there. Like,
exactly what you mentioned is why I feel like I've been so interested in like caring about this is like you mentioned, it comes down to your local judges. You know?
that's
the
that's
people
really
you
what
see
it
each and
is.
every week. Like
Yep.
the judges I see every week are you, Kevin, Dave, and all these people who really care about our
Yep.
community and care about the game. So in return, I want to make sure that everything's going to be fine for them.
Yeah, we just want to basically educate everybody.
Yeah.
That's
The
it.
sky's not falling.
Everything's gonna be all
Everything's
right.
going to be all right.
Good.
If you're interested in the new program, awesome. If it's not within your budget,
Now,
talk to your friends. I think that somebody can help you get started. I really
Like
do.
I know Pando has a really,
Oh yeah. This
fantastic
one's really
setup.
stroking myself off for sure. So
Flex.
Pandemonium Games and Hobbies has agreed to support our. We've always been in support of judging and its training and all that stuff that we do, because we understand the importance of it and how big it pays off for the communities and our events. So we as a company have decided that we're going to cover the membership fees for our judges, and that being judges that like will do some basic tasks of working X number of events kind of thing,
Sure.
passing some like training things with me, customer service and stuff like that.
Kissing babies.
Kissing babies,
signs.
shaking hands.
Shaking
If you can
hands.
do that with Pandemonium, then yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
We'll pay for your membership
Which
fee.
is awesome.
Yeah,
That's not even really a flex. That's just like you guys taking care of each other.
because it's
It's really not.
to use Brandon's words, the owner of Pandemonium Games and Hobbies. He said, "It's the right thing to do."
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, just help each other out. Like if somebody can't get into the program and they want to get in, I mean, what's $100? You know, we'll figure it out.
We'll
all
figure it
come
out.
Together.
Versus someone who will
Yeah.
actually care.
Or
and-
hell, you're struggling college kid and your store's not very big and they
Yeah.
can't afford it because
There you
maybe
go.
you're not there all the time.
Why
Do the
don't-
RA. The RA position has a free position. You don't pay anything. If you got a little bit extra money, you want to pay that $50. You get a little bit of swag yearly, like some cool sleeves or maybe even a shirt or something. That's awesome.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Why?
42.
Why? Yeah, no, it's 40. It was 43.
It's,
Damn it.
it's 69.
Why haven't you guys started a GoFundMe yet
For what?
for the academy?
Why hasn't Pandemonium or
No.
why hasn't the
Why
judge?
isn't the internet?
Oh.
All these people out there savaging each other and crying and whining. I'll donate.
That's really clever.
I'll donate right now.
That's really clever. You know why?
Let's start it.
Because the majority of people that are savaging are just doing that initial emotional reaction when they don't understand what's
Listen,
going on,
I don't want to have
or they're
to,
just not judges.
I don't want to have to maintain this. I don't want any more
You wanna
extra
get it
work
running,
on my
right?
plate. But I would love to. I'd love to have somebody out there start a GoFundMe for this, and I would definitely donate like 3 or 4 cents. You know,
Sure, and then like,
What's the
if you got
lowest I
to
can
make it to
donate?
$50,
We got some bulk basic lands back there. We can probably donate those towards the judges.
I got some used sleeves in the back room over here that
Jesus
I can donate.
Christ.
No, but that's definitely something that you guys should think about. You should email someone about that.
I think that maybe come next year when they say, hey everybody, the L2 is going up by $50, the L3 isn't moving at all, and the L1 is going to $175, if not $200, then maybe we'll have this conversation about maybe that's a little bit much. Maybe some more people need a little bit of extra help. Hell,
Okay.
this company didn't even, as far as I can tell through like the AMA, they didn't even think about doing like a yearly like payment plan, like a monthly kind of thing. Like I'll pay $16 this month and be covered for the next 2 months and just continue like that. That's easily something that this for-profit business can set up as soon as they get more of the wheels on the spokes here. You know, they're just getting
That
started.
makes no sense. You're an idiot.
As soon
All right.
as they get more horses in
let's-
front of the wagon.
I
Okay.
I prefer to have more horses in the back.
Yeah. Now, I want to show you guys now. For those of you
Shaking
listening
babies.
on
Shaking babies
SoundCloud,
and kissing
there's
hands.
probably no one listening on SoundCloud because it's an hour and 32 minutes in.
Can I
but
tell you guys that like I
No,
I
'cause-
like listening to the SoundCloud like
more than watching.
right
on
because
YouTube.
a lot
Yeah,
of the
that's
time I
fine.
put you on in the car when
Yeah,
I drive to or
I
from
actually do
work.
the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't
like
think
the
anybody.
SoundCloud a
I don't
lot.
think anybody has an hour and a half car ride though. They're never
Sure.
making it through.
Sure,
this.
but there's a lot of there you go. There's a few of them. But yeah, there's I think that there's a lot of people that like will pick it up and put it down. Like you listen to like audiobooks and stuff. Like maybe I'm dating myself now. Wait a second.
You think Josh
I like
listens to
listening to
books?
books on the road sometimes.
He must be so exciting
So
for
now
car
I
rides.
wanted to talk about the new Chalice of the Void that you guys are going to be getting in your exemplar packs.
Well, they're
I'm
not
gonna
exemplar
get them
packs
somehow.
anymore. This is just your membership. Your membership.
Oh, it's not exemplary.
Yeah, exactly.
In your
This is a
membership
membership
packs.
benefit.
Excuse me, in your membership packs.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to talk about that, and this is going to be pretty cool, right? So
It's fucking
Um,
beautiful.
it is
Seb McKinnon
beautiful.
has just been killing it
Yeah,
over
so,
and over again. This
um,
is the old art from
yeah, and-
MTGO.
yeah, for those of you watching, I just wanted to show you the art of this and show you guys how beautiful this thing is, and this is definitely
good.
yeah, it's going to be, it's going to cover it. most likely this one card's going to cover your membership. So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
and people are like, well, what about when these good promos run out and you're just getting like a bunch of garbage in your packet? I don't think that's going to happen
we ever ran out of
anymore.
old promos?
I mean, we've had some bad Judge promos. You got promos where we're like, what the hell, man? Like, ISO, I don't even remember what it's called. ISO something or other.
Isochronic Scepter?
No, it wasn't Scepter. It was like a prism of some kind.
Sure.
But anyways, I don't think it's going to happen anymore because I think part of the negotiations with Wizards was like, hey, if we're going to do this, like, you got to meet us at the table and have somebody dedicated to, like, kind of negotiating what these promos are going to be. And we have to make sure that they're going to be decent. Brian Pillerman, who is an L3 from the Southeast, has been with the program for a super long time. He was in charge of, like, the exemplar stuff. And Wizards just wasn't willing to negotiate on what the cards would be, really, in the past. But since this kind of changed, they said that they will appoint Gavin Verhey to literal Judge promo negotiations going forward, and that Brian's a man of his word. So when he says that they're going to make sure that these are cards that judges want, I at least can understand that as are of value. So I don't think that like these things running out of value is going to be something that we're going to see potentially ever if done well. And Gavin, I've met Gavin, very passionate guy, very smart business-minded guy. When he's got his work mask off, he's all about just playing the game and stuff like that. But when he's in work mode, very business-minded, and I appreciate the hell out of that. So I think that he's the right kind of person to put in charge of this.
Good.
Yeah.
The other place we might see this Chalice of the Void shortly will be on MTG Finance. Josh, what do you think about the finance going on right now?
Yeah, so I think this thing, we'll move into finance here, Richie. You are very correct.
What are paper chalices at normally?
So paper
like
chalices,
45s, I think.
yeah, between it was at 60, came back down. It's kind of at a real number now, but my guess is those chalices, depending on how many get out into the world, which I think it'll be not insane, because again, it's going to be similar to Grand Prix numbers, but I think it's going to be way less than Grand Prix numbers.
I think it's going to be similar to old exemplar numbers and then a plus some, which in all honesty might sound like a lot. It's really not.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
So those things will keep their value. My guess is
those chalices will probably be around 100s, I think.
I think 100s.
Sure.
The mentors, I think, will be around like 75s.
I think that one will be the one that'll probably flux a lot, though.
Yeah.
The
like over
reflecting
time.
pool will probably be around the 40 or 50.
I don't know. I think the mentors
Commander
are
all
going
day.
to be a lot more expensive than that.
I don't think they'll be more expensive than the chalice.
I think we need some legacy to push it. Some prominent legacy events like I don't know, one that Mr. Terrence Vincent might be going to later this year. That would be GP Hotlanta, which is a legacy GP, which is super cool if you're a legacy player. But if you're not and you're a modern player, then don't go there. Instead, go to Pandemonium Games and Hobbies on September, I believe it's 21st for our modern MCQ.
I prefer legacy, but I'll be there because I hate GPs.
Aww.
Good.
That's such a sad thing to hear with all the changes,
All right, so usually every week, if you guys haven't been to the podcast, or
like
if you're,
Chris, he's never been to this podcast.
I've never been here,
if you're joining for the first time, we do finance every week, and this is where we finally get to stop hearing Chris talk for a few minutes.
Do you have any finance?
I have a fine. Okay, moving on.
Yes, finance. I haven't heard that one yet, Richie. I like that. So this week, we always bring up the weekly winners, and this is through a site called mtgstocks.com, right? So this will give you your weekly winners, your weekly losers, and this is a pretty good site to go to. This is the one that we use every week, and Chris and I, we used to use this thing too.
I love this. You introduced me to this website, and it's great.
Do you still use this website at all?
I do, but not as much anymore because I work so much back of the house. I don't have to worry about front of the house, price changes all that much. But one of the first things I normally do when I wake up in the morning is I'll get on Goldfish and look at each format's movers and shakers. I like to be semi-aware of trends.
It'll scroll some of that stuff at the top here, and it's really cool. So this week, the number one is Mana Breach, and this thing is up 500%, right? So the reason this is up is because of the new M20 guy, legendary creature the elemental guy that's been spoiled, right?
Nom, nom,
No,
nom,
he's
nom,
already
nom,
out.
nom. Yeah, that
He's
one's
been
out.
out?
That one's
Okay.
out. Yeah,
Well,
people are just finding
Oh,
new shit.
there was the blue white black one. that got
All the
spoiled.
commanders got spoiled.
Yeah, we'll see the
Yes,
deck
okay.
list later this week.
Are they just releasing it as one big dump?
No,
or
they'll do like one a day.
Are we gonna
kind
get
of
a little
thing.
spoiler?
You'll get a deck list a day kind of thing.
Oh, but we're getting a whole deck at once. We're not getting
Like when they do it, yes. You'll still get like some single card spoilers like we've already been getting.
Yeah.
But then when they
But
go
that's
to
not how
do
they're
it, they'll
gonna
be like,
finish it.
here's the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this thing's up to almost $8 here. So if you guys dig through your old Exodus bulk, pull that thing out.
Maybe
Get rid
we'll
of
see
it.
this card in that
Oh,
deck.
I have to go digging.
Ixidor Reality Sculptor.
I know I have these.
He is a legend. Face down creatures get +1/+1.
Makes sense.
Pay 3, turn those face downs right up.
So this is the new commander that's all about putting things face down.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yep.
Like, well, this is not him himself, but like
Yeah,
this is
so
because
because
of
of
that
that
new
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of these spikes this week are going to be because of
Commander.
all the new Cockmanders. So
Dude, Magic's
of course,
greatest format.
Den Protector, they're
Cock
showing
Magic?
that.
It absolutely
The
is.
Bane, all these ones that morph up, right? All these cards are going to possibly see a little bit of a spike. Maybe not. They might not come up too much, but just keep an eye on that stuff. If you have this stuff sitting around in your bulk, do yourself a favor and pull this out before you give it to people like me, and make me pay you real money on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Next thing is Divergent Transformations this week.
Mhm.
That's up 150% almost. And it's
Yeah,
a
but 150% of nothing is still nothing.
yeah,
right?
well, no,
It's got a fiver on
It's
it.
at $5. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at a 5 spot. But these are the kind of cards where sometimes you can miss the boat. Sometimes you can be like, I thought that card was $1.
Sure.
It's now $5. It's now $10. So like, again, that's why we bring this stuff up each week so that you can be on top of this. You can get it before it goes.
I
up
feel
too
like
high.
commander cards are where we find most of our money in bulk.
Sure.
So-
Yeah, absolutely.
So Divergent Transformations, it's a red card. It's 7 CMC, but it has Undaunted. So each opponent, it's one less for each opponent that you can cast it, right? So
typically in a
Exile.
commander game, this would be like 4 mana.
yeah.
Yeah.
So exile 2 target creatures, period. And then it says for each of those creatures, its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card, puts that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles the rest into his or her library.
Sure.
It's polymorph.
Yes. So
Sure.
it's pretty wild, pretty cool card. So do yourself a favor, pick that up before it gets even higher. And
The cheap
now,
pickups this week are even actually pretty good in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, they're not like so.
Tarmogoyf went down
Yeah.
50 cents.
Yes, Tom Regoyf went down, 12 cents this week. It said at its all-time low, right? That's what we've been seeing from this guy
Yeah,
for
been
the
trying to
past
do that for 6
couple
years.
weeks. So this
Goyfs
week,
are actually cheap. They're under 50s.
I know. That's what Wizards has been trying to make happen for
Yeah.
like 6 years.
Caracas is down. It's
Caracas.
yeah, it's and of course it's the Eternal Masters one, and this card's great, but it only sees legacy play. You can't play it in Commander because it's busted in Commander. So for those of you legacy players that are out there,
Wonder what this card would do to modern.
nothing.
I thought this.
What does it do
I thought
in
this
Modern?
was also
This is Eternal Masters.
Modern,
No, this is
though.
just
No?
Eternal Masters. No.
Okay.
What is it?
Man,
I mean,
what did somebody? Oh, it was Legacy on Thursday. Somebody asked me about this card and
Yeah.
was wondering if it said creature, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty confident it says creature, and that's why you.
Because the old one just says legend, right?
Yeah,
Legendary.
probably. I don't know.
yeah, legendary.
I think the old
permanent.
one. No, I think the old one just says legend.
Okay.
Because back then the only legendary things were creatures.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that might be.
Yeah, so pick this card up. It's at $23. I'm not sure how much room it has to go down. Usually I'll tell you like, hey, this thing's gonna keep going down, so wait. But
I think it might
really,
hit 20 before it
Yeah.
quits lowering.
Yeah, I don't really think this thing can go a whole lot lower. Same thing with Containment Priest. This thing's at $5. So
This,
if we
this should have made
now-
it to modern.
now this is a very very
Hot take: this will be in a standard legal set within the next year.
I agree.
I think that's the only reason we didn't get it in
It's kind of like a
Modern Horizons.
lukewarm take. It's definitely
Well,
not hot pocket
The
take.
thing with Modern Horizons is those things that are too good for standard. This card wouldn't do shit in standard.
No.
Yeah, so my thing is that if they do print this actual exact same card into standard, and you're able to pick up these copies at $5 right now, it might
Yeah.
be a good investment.
Sure. I agree. I think that I think if this comes back, it comes probably with another color attached to it.
I think we get actual factual containment priest.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If they change anything, they'll take away the human. That's my.
I think that's why it'll come back with two colors. I think it'll be maybe like black, white,
Okay.
2-1 or 1-2 flash containment priest ability.
I don't think I think if they do not unless they print the
It'll be
exact
just a
card,
cleric.
it will not be a human.
Yeah.
It might be like a cleric something, but it won't be a human.
Okay.
They've really been trying to lower down on the good humans.
So the last card that we got here is Grove of the Burn Willows, and that's at $10. If you
Hell
want
yeah.
to, you could probably still hold fast on this card. This card looks like it's going to hit the $5 to $7 range at some point, in my eyes. That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to have those,
Does Tron
right?
still need this card?
No, but
$5.
Yep, that's exactly.
But the thing is like it's really big in Legacy. Like look at the lands decks. Look at anything
Sure.
like that.
Yeah, and so the other thing too that I wanted to
That's
talk
why.
about. So we're going to move on
Oh,
past finance here. Yeah,
That's what it was.
that's tough.
Look at this
so
photo.
we've got Mr. Aaron Miyake, a local also.
Aaron Miyotaki.
He plays for us every
Aaron
Tuesday
Kataki.
on
Yeah, pay for your artifacts.
here on the station Mom's Basement Twitch. So you guys can check him out.
You can also find a video with the deck that he played this weekend.
Yep.
He streamed it, the Mono Red Phoenix deck.
Yep. Is that the deck you went 5-0 with?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool stuff. We, we've had both Richie and Aaron in the past couple weeks hit some 5-0s. So those videos are gonna soon to be, in the
So this was
in the thousands.
This was an IQ at Frogtown
Yeah.
for
So this
SSG?
is so this is Frogtown in Ohio. And
How did Aaron finish?
He top forward.
Very nice.
He
Very
lost
nice.
to the coolest deck ever that I'm hoping to get the deck list to stream.
Is that
this
the
week.
one with the gentleman next to him?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of a quick gist?
It was like red white Swan's Prison, with the win con being Boros Reckoner Worship, and then this creature I don't know its name, but you can deal X damage to a creature and you lose X life. So you choose up 10 million,
It's disgusting.
deal it to the Boros Reckoner, you take it. Worship
that's
says you
neat.
stay at 1,
Yeah.
and then you redirect from the Boros Reckoner to your opponent.
Yeah. That's pretty smart. That's dirty as hell. I love it. I
Deck
saw
was
Raja in
wild.
there too.
Yeah,
Raja's
Raja
a
was
Michigan
playing
boy.
4-color Jund.
Yeah, Raja's a good Jund player.
Splashing white for main deck, Kaya's Wrath, Path to Exiles, and
I get the pass. The
I
Kaya
think
seems
that was about
extra.
it.
Yeah.
Super good against
Yeah,
Hogak.
that's
like-
pretty good.
Is Kaya's okay? So is Kaya's better than say just having Damnation because it's
Yes.
easier on your mana base?
No,
It's an
no,
instant
no,
speed.
no. Okay, not Kaya's Wrath. Kaya's Guile. I'm sorry.
Oh
That's-
yeah,
I knew that's what
yeah.
you were-
Kaya's
that's why I was
Guile's
like,
fucking
it's an instant.
awesome card. Okay.
I keep calling it
I'm
Kaya's
on.
Wrath.
I'm
for
on
some
board.
reason,
I'm
my
on board.
bad.
Okay.
Well,
Who's this handsome-looking gentleman?
This again is the end here where we say our goodbyes, but we always make sure that you guys know where you can find us. You can find Chris. He on Twitter. He is at PandoMTG Chris. So please, he's only got 96 followers. That's fucking abysmal.
Dude,
so
those
you
are
need
the
to get
ones
your numbers up.
that matter. All these people that aren't there, they don't matter just yet, but you could today.
Get your numbers up.
Dude.
Sir Bear, which is your worker, says check your phone and hit accept. Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
Uh-oh, you in trouble.
And also, please do yourself a favor. We hit our 300 followers. Yes, a golf clap at
Very
Mom's
nice.
Basement MTG on Twitter. So I'm really proud of that. We're gonna have to do some more giveaways to get
Maybe
those
we can
numbers
give away
up.
this guy.
I don't think so.
I mean, who could put a price on me? As my
And
stomach rumbles like
5
crazy.
schmeckles.
also, do
Oh,
yourself
that's a lot of schmeckles.
do yourself a favor and follow Richie too. He just got done doing his giveaway last month. He likes to support you guys just as well as we do. He's also, he's not just a Magic player.
Not just
he's
Magic.
He's also doing some other stuff these days.
Yeah, I've been playing a
check
lot
him
of
out.
TFT. Just hit gold recently. Probably gonna do a big run for platinum this weekend, and
Good.
I think I'm gonna end up streaming it.
I was gonna
don't
say,
know,
you stream any
I,
of that? You should stream some of that. It'd be fun.
I'm working on getting an overlay set up.
Okay. It's important.
Yeah.
Having a good overlay.
Yep. So follow him
By the way,
at,
Abe, I love you. You're doing great.
at Richard T MTG. All right, you guys. That's all for us this week. Chris, thank you again for coming by.
Being our first guest on
Yes.
our 10th
Hey,
episode.
first of
10th
many.
episode. We really
I'm so
enjoyed
happy
it.
I got 10,
And now,
man. That's
yeah.
awesome.
And now, when we do our 100th episode, we'll probably have
Fuck,
a
I have to
better.
come
We'll have a
back?
level 2 judge.
Oh shit.
'Cause-
Chris
Hopefully
won't
it's
be alive
maybe
by then.
also
He's
me.
already like
yeah, you're never gonna get.
he's
there.
already like 74.
I've been that's what I was thinking about doing the L2 stuff now, just
Sure.
because like I don't know what the new system's gonna look like. So yeah.
Oh, more excuses.
Yeah,
No, it's
so
fine.
it could be me on episode 100. It really could be.
And the money won't be coming out of your pocket at that point. So.
Oh, I don't care about
We
that.
get
Ando's got you.
Whatever.
But yeah, so again, guys, find us next week here at 5:30. Most likely
nice
the
of them.
episode won't go as
It
long.
is really awesome.
I won't
because
be here,
Chris,
so-
Chris won't be running his suckhole for
I
an hour
I
and a
am
half.
so impressed with how much stuff you guys set
It's
up, but like
disgusting.
you understand it's me, right? Like I'm just
Well,
we're
yeah,
just gonna talk.
I actually made that comment to Josh. I'm like, this is gonna be an easy episode. We just gotta let Chris talk.
Right.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your evening and good week, and we'll see you next week.
Bon
Peace.
voyage.
Bye.